G'day comrade subscribers, hope you're all well. So I'm in the middle of trying to reverse engineer or make a homebrew version of the keyboard for this Microprocessor 3 because as you may know I didn't get the keyboard with this, and it's not just a simple Apple II keyboard, but I went down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out why, because this particular Microprocessor 3 came with piggybacked CD and EF ROMs, and one of them basically doesn't work. It gives the ROM E10 error, and I'm not an Apple II person, so I wasn't really sure what that was. So I've gone down the rabbit hole and I think I might have figured it out. So I've actually I did a video early this morning explaining it all. But just to recap, if I just start recording, so if I power on, not sure which ROM I've got at the moment. Okay, so this is actually running in the AB ROM, this self-test here. So this one's okay. So we can let it run through. Like, RAM test complete. Okay, so it's happy with these ROMs by the look of it. Test complete, test complete, test complete. So that's good. The only thing is I won't be able to get past this because I don't have a keyboard. Okay. And now we're doing the color test. So this is connected via composite. Right, done. Press return. I can't press return. Right, so now if we switch to the other set of ROMs. Okay. Whoop, recording stops. Try recording again. Okay, well, let me just restart the recording. Okay. Now power on. Basically just get that ROM E10. And very unstable. So let me just stop that. So that's actually an Apple error. Anyway, I'll insert the next segment, which kind of explains everything. And then we'll come back and I'll see if I've been able to fix it by replacing this ROM. I think I might have figured out why I'm getting this ROM E10 error. I don't know much about Apples, but so what I found now is actually the E10 error is indicating a checksum error on the E10 ROM in the original Apple II. Obviously I don't have an E10 ROM because it's Multitech. So what one of the ROMs seems okay because it runs diagnostics. So that diagnostics runs from the AB ROM up here. And then we've got these piggybacked CD EF ROMs that I can switch between. So when I switch to one of them, I get that ROM E10 error. So what I was trying to do originally is to try and look for text in the ROM dump to try and understand where the error is coming from. But of course that won't work on the Apple II because it doesn't use 8-bit ASCII. So what I did this morning is I've got a Python script here to extract possible text from a ROM, or Apple II ROM, and then output the ASCII. So if we have a quick look on the, say, the on the AB ROM, so obviously there's going to be a lot of junk, but here you can see this self-test. So that seems to be where the self-test is running from. And I'm thinking that one set of ROMs is going to be okay. So then I had a look on the other two to try and understand what the problem is. So if I have a look on, well, we won't worry about CD. Let's have a look on the EF. So if we have a look on EF1, have a look. So blah blah blah. Nothing really stands out. There's some. I think because this is the basic implementation. Will we get nothing? No. Do we get nothing? Oh, there we go. We've got error there. So some bits and pieces. And then when I have a look at the EF2, at the second ROM, sorry, because it's got the checksum on the end. I was scrolling through and I thought, whoop, hey, Apple. So that made me think, maybe the second set of ROMs, so one set is the Multitech kind of Apple II clone, And the second set is perhaps an original Apple II ROM set. So you've got full Apple compatibility, perhaps. So then I compared them. So this is Ultra Compare. And when I had a look, we go, why isn't that going to, anyway, whatever. So there's 2 bytes of difference right there. That's the only difference between them. So this is the good one. That's the original Apple II ROM, and this is my one. So I thought maybe that could be the problem. So I had a look at the, was it this disassembly? No, it wasn't that one. Hang on, let me just find it. Here it is. So this is the Apple monitor ROM listings for the IIe. So I had a look down. So this is, okay, so this is the EF ROM, and this is offset 1B60 in the file. So this is actually FB6, 6, I think, FB 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's actually FB66, I think, in the disassembly. So I don't know. We have a look down, FB65. Okay, so FB65, get a character. We can see here we've got B908FB, B908FB, and in mine it's B9CBFF. So that could be why my that ROM's not working. Perhaps it's just some sort of subtle corruption. FB, where was it? FB65. So that's going to 08FB. So okay, which is this S title offset. So so I guess that's an address somewhere. What's it supposed to be? FB. Oh, it's probably supposed to be FB08, isn't it? It's like little endian. So FB08. Is it just some text? Oh, here we go. Apple II. Okay, so it displays the. Okay. Displays the Apple II text. Whereas mine's going off to FFCB, which is probably garbage, rubbish, perhaps. Yeah, so it looks like that's the problem. So it's supposed to be an Apple IIe ROM, but it's got some slight corruption, hence we get the ROM E10 error. So how is that E10 error actually calculated? Well, it's here. So we calculate this EF checksum. So it's 8-bit sum over blah, 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 blah. So we actually, the checksum's actually, it's an 8-bit value, is actually stored in the ROM at address F7FF. So that'll be 17 F7FF. So it'll be 17FF, I think. 17FF, is that right? I think that's where I was before. 17FF78. So that's obviously the same in both. So I think so it's supposed to be calculating the checksum of the ROM, and it's supposed to come up to value 78. So in that case, what I've done is I've got another Python script. Where was my, there we go. So I've got another Python script to basically do this checksum calculation. So if we have a look at checksum, what was it? So yeah, actually what? So I've downloaded the original ROM, a proper official dumps sort of thing. So that's what the ROM should be. Was obviously I was comparing there, and then I've got my EF2 here. So this is supposed to be the Apple II ROM that I've actually dumped that's causing the problem. So if we run my script on, say, the official EF ROM, and it's all good, it comes up, it's calculated it to be 78 hex, and that matches the value. So that's a good ROM. And I've got the enhanced one as well. The enhanced one has the same thing, I believe. It's got value EB, and that's the value it's calculated. So if I do mine, well, we know it's not going to work because it's got the same checksum, but it's actually got some different bytes. EF-II, and then just the 27. And so yeah, it's calculated as 3F. So that's why I'm getting the E10 error. So yeah, it says that I can either I can patch this value to 3F so the checksum works, but it's going to cause a problem. So this should be printing Apple II when it boots. So that is, I think, the problem. So I'll just replace my EF ROM with the official Apple II ROM, and hopefully it'll work then. I had a look at the CD one as well, and it's pretty much the same, except in the proper Apple II one, this is all empty. The first FF 256 bytes. But here we've got some data. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem. I don't know if this is here because to make it compatible with the Multitech hardware. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have to replace the CD as well. But at the moment, it's just complaining about the EF. So, mystery solved. So I might actually do this. I might actually reburn this first before I get back to doing the doing the keyboard investigation. So hopefully that was of some interest. Right, I've got the new ROM in. I've swapped out my original one. So all I've done, so the original ROMs were switched on the enable pin. These ones, the 27128, I've just switched on the A15 pin. So I've done that there. Let's see. I start recording and power on. Okay, that's different. Bit of a buzzing sound. Okay, it's doing something different now. So I guess this is cyclic. Keyboard, missing keyboard perhaps? I don't know. I'm not an Apple II person. All right, so it seems to be in the loop. So, like I said in the previous section, the CD-ROM is different as well. The Multitech one has got an additional 256 bytes at the start, whereas the Apple IIe CD-ROM, let me just stop that, is empty. So I don't know if that makes any significance, but well, we'll see. I'll have to do some more investigation of what happens with the Apple II booting.